It's going to be a good day. And I'm your host, NJ White. And today we have a guest from journeybetween.org, Ronnie Kaufman. And Ronnie, thank you so much for taking time to be with us today.
Well, I'm honored that you even asked me. I hope to share some great things today. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I think we're going to have a good time.
So Ronnie and I go way back. At one point, he was my life coach and business coach. And now he is a journey guide. And I don't know about you, but I'd never heard the word before. So Ronnie, could you explain to us what it means to be a journey guide?
Well, first, your name has to be Ronnie Kaufman. Otherwise, you can't be one.
Okay.
And the journey guide, the journey that I've been on my whole life and the pieces to it. And in the last 8 years and the transitions, things, the Leonard Cohen song, someplace he says, it's the crack that lets the light get in. And I've been cracked several times in my life, but about 8 years ago, actually 10 years ago, I was cracked wide open and it set me on a journey. And I put a lot of pieces together, and I've now been presenting. I don't say I teach. I've been presenting Journey Between Heart and Soul. This is the 10th time now.
Right. Well, Ronnie, you mentioned that you had been cracked open wide. And I remember that was a time when you were in deep despair, I would say, and you survived it. And then more than that, you transformed and you went from your flight to light. Do you want to share part of that journey and how you went from despair to light?
I'm going to go quickly through some of it. Some of it I'll give some more details.
Okay,
but
thank you.
I was I had a complete emotional breakdown, often found myself curled up in a ball, sobbing on the floor, shaking. And then I went to the hospital and I stayed there for 8 days. And, but while I was there, and I went there for one reason and one reason alone, I needed to get that pain to stop. I couldn't do anything. It immobilized me. I needed to get the pain to stop. And while I was there, I called my rabbi, who's a dear, dear friend. He has since passed. And I said, Arthur, let me tell you where I'm at. Don't worry, you don't have to come and see me, but we talk regularly. And he said, oh no, I'm coming to see you. Bob. The next thing I know, he says, I'm on my way. I says, Arthur, when you do come, bring something from the Psalms. And there's a beautiful lounge area that we can sit in that just looks over the mountains. So he came, and instead of bringing something from the Psalms, he brought a psalm. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Harold Kushner.
Mm-hmm, yes.
When bad things happen to good people. He said, I didn't bring you a psalm. I brought you this book. And the title of the book is The Lord is My Shepherd. And Harold Kushner took each of the lines from The Lord is My Shepherd and made it a new chapter. At the beginning of it, the preface of it, the story that was, he said, who this man was, he was probably well known, respected in his community, doing well, and he lost everything. And this man thought he had been betrayed, terribly betrayed, and he just didn't know what to do. And he says, God, you know what I need, God? I need a miracle. And the miracle ended up coming for him. And the miracle was he didn't get his health or money or any of the things back. What came to him with the miracle was that he realized that life was worth living. And I went, oh. And so that began this journey. And I spent 2 years between getting out, and 2 years later, I left Tucson, Arizona, where I lived for 22 years, sold everything I owned, my home, picked up my little car, and I said, I'm just going to go up the coast, and I don't know where I'm going to end up. So I was homeless. I slept on beaches, slept on couches, slept in my car, and I got up to Northern California. Well, yeah. And when I got up to Northern California, there was a national campground, Shasta Lake Campground, campground, right below Mount Shasta. And I got a really nice campground by a cliff that overlooked the lake, and the trees just went up to the sky. And so made my camp, put up my tent, put up my lounge chair next to the tent, and every day I'd make some breakfast. I'd go for a walk along the lake, and I sit in the chair and I say, God, what's going on? Where am I going? And the fourth day, while I'm sitting in the chair, I could hear the leaves, the wind blowing and the leaves rustling above me, and the epiphany I had been waiting for. And the epiphany was, listen to the wisdom of your soul. A second time, listen to the wisdom of your soul. Next day, I packed up, broke camp, and just started driving north. And I saw this sign that said Ashland. I crossed the border now in Oregon, Ashland, and I had heard about Ashland. I didn't know anybody there and never been there. What I heard about Ashland, it was an old hippie town. And I says, well, I got to check this out. And so I did, and it's a small little town of 22,000 people. And I came off, there's only one main street, and I'm driving down it, and I'm now hit downtown. And from light pole to light pole, there was a banner. I didn't know at the time the banner has changed often, but at this time the banner read, "We choose love." I said, I'm home. So that began, and all the things that I had been working on prior to that emotional breakdown when I was in Tucson all got put on the shelf. Literally, I forgot about. And when I came to Ashland, what ended up happening is it gave me a very safe emotional space with the people I met. I needed my space. I was above zero emotionally, but I needed my space and I needed to nourish that so I can grow it. And 3 years ago, I heard about Ollie. I don't know if you know what Ollie is. Osher Life Learning Institute. There are about 125 nationwide. They're all connected to a university, and they all offer classes to senior citizens. And I thought, well, I'm going to check it out and see if there's something I can do here. And I went to their introduction to possible instructors, and the idea came to me. I said, well, I can take some of my old seminars, put them together, and make a class out of it. And I did. And some of the classes featured Brene Brown. Another class was Wayne Dyer. Another class, Don Miguel Ruiz. And so I really worked on it. So during class, I present things, could be video, and we do a lot of videos, 1-2 minutes, and we look at them and say, well, what was that about? And where I benefit, because there's got to be something in it for me. I've never imagined being in a room full of senior citizens who have come from all different places, who went on their own journeys, who have their own opinions, to now bring subjects up and let's have a conversation. And it's been a hoot, and I've so enjoyed it. I'm doing my 10th one now, and each time I did it, I learned from the class what worked, what didn't work, new ideas, and each one changed. So it went from Journey Between Heart and Soul 2.0. It's now 3.0, and it is so magnificent. And not that I've read everything there is to read. You know, I've read this much, but the things that I present for me is brand new. And yet it's something that I started in 2014, my first diagrams, my first sketches of it. And again, it all got put on the shelf. And just recently I've took it down. And I needed that time. I needed that learning.
Are there still things that if somebody wanted to join you, if they went to journeybetween.org, are there things that they can participate with you in? Or I know there's a wealth of your writings and your poems, but tell us about the website.
The website is Journey Between, and I've made it as user-friendly as I can. I have right now 5 classes on there and a guide to you can take the classes on your own. They're much better if you can take them in a group, and because you get the feedback. That's the big bounce. And each of those has a podcast, a 4 or 5 minute podcast and these podcasters are great. It's a man and a woman, and they're on all of them. They seem to be very smart, more than I am, so they add some things, and so people should listen to those. And I would say just listen to the podcast and hear what they have to say. If there's an interest, there's a place they can contact me, and I'm a 501c3. I'm a nonprofit. I don't charge for anything that I do. If anybody wants to make a gift or contribute, that's their deal. I don't go after anybody, and I want people to be able to come. There's also some other things on there. One is called uh, the journey between experiences, and there's 18 of them, and they're categorized. But if you go to journeybetween.org/extras, that's the shortcut. It'll bring you to the extras page, or better yet, journeybetween.org/experiences, and it'll bring up the experience page. You can print it off. There's a PDF. You can print it off. Look at it. What is it that where are you in your life? And what is it you've accomplished? What do you got you'd like to accomplish? And maybe you only do a couple of them work, but it's a beginning of having an awareness of who you are. One of the things I really recognized probably this past month, I often go to, it's called North Mountain Park in the morning, and I'll walk to a bench along the path and I'll sit. Ashland is an older crowd. And what I'm really seeing, and I understand now, is that there is a point in getting older. Okay, you're 70 or you're 60 or you're 80 or you're 90. There's not an age. It's not an age thing. It's all the things that happen in your life. Maybe you ignore them. A lot of people do, and they just keep on going like tomorrow's always going to be there. But one of the things I realize is tomorrow is not always going to be there. There's so much I want to do. I know I'm not going to get it all done. It would be impossible, but it would certainly make me feel good if I can get some of it done. But the most fun part of it is, for me, is when I have people in class and I see them light up. Oh, I says, it's a good day.
There you go. We made it a good day. Ronnie, you write a lot, and it's poetic. And a lot of your writings, are they on that website?
I didn't pay you to ask that question, but it's a good question, and things that I'm very proud of. If you go to journeybetween.org/MOA, MOA, Moments of Awareness. That's a shortcut to get you to the page. And they're my moments of awareness, and there's some from the 70s that I have on there. I did this on another website, and I haven't really, and I even have some of the original, I have a lot of the original handwritten stuff from the 70s, otherwise I wouldn't have it. But it's good stuff, and there's also one called LOL/LOL, Labyrinth of Life. Maybe 25% of my longer writings on there, not pages, not books, not chapters, something maybe a page, 2 pages, 3 pages. That's my legacy.
And some of them remind me of a prayer. When I read them, they have the same feeling of when you're praying, and the gratitude and the things you're thinking about.
Gratitude. In the 70s, I didn't get gratitude. I was in my 20s, and what's gratitude? But gratitude has really come to me since I've been grateful for a long time. But since I've been in Southern Oregon, very grateful for being in such a peaceful place. I mean, just so great. The main street's 25 miles an hour. When you get a little bit outside, it goes to 30. If people go to the crosswalk, you stop and people wave and say thanks, and you wave back. It's a bubble town, and most of the bubble that, now that I've been here 8 years and looking at it, it came from the senior citizens that are here. It's a huge senior citizen population, and most of them are, they have loving kindness and compassion and care.
Ronnie, you had a complete, like you say, breakdown. Everything broke. But there are times when people do that, and times when they just are moody or depressed or down. What kind of suggestions would you give somebody who's just in a rut and there's no hope?
It is one of the most difficult places to be in life. Live it, and then to have an awareness of it, and to not see any light at the end of the tunnel, and everything you do doesn't make any difference. In my professional life, the more successful I was, the more money I made, the unhappier I became. And it got to a point where there were just, knowing what one of the first things, a difficult thing is knowing who you are, knowing who you and knowing who you aren't, and stop fooling yourself, because you're not that person. And you need to really look in the mirror and say, hey, and whoever you see is okay. It's not good or bad. It's who you are. It's what you have. And you can take that and then decide between now and then, what might you want to be doing between now and then? But you can't know what you want to be doing if you don't know who you are.
That sometimes is a hard thing. I'm sure many times it's a hard thing to peel the onion, I guess, and find out the essence of who you are. Do you ever help people to get to who they are?
I hope I helped you a little bit.
Yeah.
But the answer is, of course. Of course, this is my feeling. A good teacher tells you where to look, but never tells you what to see. And so often that teacher says, and this is what's there, and 1 + 1 is 2. And well, I know that if you're just looking at this world here, that's what it is. But if you're willing to look beyond what you know, you can start seeing truth. It's a willingness, listen,
that's a good point. I like willingness.
Anybody who would like to contact me, I'm happy to spend some time with them. Again, I don't charge for anything, and I'll listen. I'll ask them questions and listen. Then I'll give them some homework, and if they want to do it and bring the homework back, we can do it together. But that says they're willing to do it. I'm willing to do it.
Oh, I like that. I like the essence of who you are.
So if you've moved a place that you're ready to take a look at what the next thing is, and it's a lot of work, it's a lot of practice, and it's a lot of feeling of joy and peace and comfort, not only with yourself but the world around you.
I love it. And that I think your life now is the essence of all of those things. The peace, the comfort, the oneness with nature, the oneness with other people.
I still have my stuff, and I just have to imagine I'll have my stuff till the day I die. But that's okay. And I just discovered something new the other day. Not big things, tiny things. It's a little tiny, it's just like having a little tiny pebble, but it's been between your sock and the shoe, and it's carved its way in. So get rid of the pedal. Getting back, the biggest thing for me, and this is a practice that anybody who I work with, it's a practice that they have to at least consider and try. And that is, I couldn't immediately listen to the wisdom of my soul, but I started to listen, and I then be able to start trusting the wisdom of my soul. Once I got past, wow, I can trust it. I can rely on it. I just now have to listen. So that's something big for people to want.
I think that's powerful. And it sounds simple, but it isn't. Words are simple, but
I'm out. It is simple. It is simple. There couldn't be anything simpler. The difficult part comes with practicing.
There you go. Yeah.
And how do you practice? And when we look at I refer to it as the ego center, the heart center, the control center, our memory center, working with all those. And the control center chooses what it's going to do. And it listens to a few advisors, but one main one is ego. Ego wants to do things its way, and it talks to the control center, and heart center tries to influence it. And then, so there's a lot more to it. Easy, not difficult. But yeah, and that's one of the first things I like to introduce people to. The concepts. And my concepts are not the concepts, they're my concepts. Take my concepts and tune them or throw them away, or take a piece and maybe put them together a little differently. But you need to be able to claim them and have them work for you. And you tune them as you need to tune them.
I love it. Ronnie, you are one person who makes each day a good day. And I'm just so grateful that you're on this program, because with all the things going on in the world, we need people like you and like your journeybetween.org, so people can practice how to have a good day. And I thank you for your work and your time I'm just blessed to have you here.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Ann.